Goes live, coming to you from the DNVR Bar here on the corner of Colfax and York, and once again, beautiful downtown Denver, Colorado.
The first 90-degree day of the entire year in Denver.
Really?
Which is crazy because I keep seeing like, oh, it's going to be 92. Like even yesterday it was supposed to be 92, and I guess it just didn't happen.
So then I guess maybe I'm talking prematurely.
No.
It's supposed to be the first 90-degree day, but maybe we won't hit it.
But no, I saw what you said. Like
Yeah.
there's people everywhere. Just it's good. First 90-degree day tomorrow. And it's like, wait, I've been told over and over again.
Right.
I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it.
We're in the best time of the year right now.
I completely agree.
Yesterday I went outside. I started grilling at 7 p.m.
It's amazing.
and it was warm but not hot.
Yep. You still had 2.5 hours of sunshine
Yes.
left.
Oh, and I took up every second of it. Got on the grill, threw on some Zach Bryan, made some delicious barbecue chicken, some corn. And
Zach
then
Bryan, did you just mix two artists?
Nope.
Zach Bryan's. I was thinking Zach Brown and Luke Bryan.
Bryan, no.
Yeah. Zach Bryan, someone.
I would say
appreciate
better
the
than
name.
each individually.
Wow.
But yeah, the sum of the parts.
Wow. That's
I
great.
went to a Luke Bryan concert. Remember In We Go?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I had a friend who's like, yeah, like that sounds awesome. And I was like, sure. And it was like at Mile High or whatever.
Wow.
And I went. Not a fan.
Well, I mean, you don't like country, so
Exactly.
it's gonna be a tough sell.
Like he came out there with a guitar and then didn't play the guitar for the first 45. That's not true. He'd do the durr, and then he just go back to just singing without playing. I was like, come, you're a professional musician. Let somebody who's really good at playing guitar play guitar.
No.
If you're,
okay, that's
you
fair.
know, if you're,
It's part of the look.
exactly, and that's why I didn't like. It's music, not look.
I will say Luke
that's
Combs
fair.
doesn't fake it. Most songs
Interesting.
he doesn't have his guitar, and then if he's gonna play the guitar, then pull out acoustic guitar, play it.
I like that.
Zach Bryan, though,
Yeah.
to give you guys an idea of how wild it is that you don't know who he is, playing at Red Rocks last 2 nights,
Yeah.
over $500 to get in.
Oh, my gosh. That is wild.
Yep.
So, yeah, that is wild that I don't know. How does he spell his first name?
With an H.
That's why I don't know
what a
him. That's
loser.
why I don't know him. Yeah, what a loser. Thanks for taking those.
But he
away, Stephanie.
spells
That's right.
Brian like Ryan with a B in front of it.
Wow, that is fascinating.
Yeah.
Man, too bad it's not
I like
Ryan.
that.
Then he could be Zach Ryan.
Anyways, beautiful weather last night, and I couldn't leave. I was just like, I'm not leaving until the sun goes down.
I'm not leaving.
Yes, exactly.
Wow. There's been weird construction on my way here for a week now. And
Don't
so,
you live half a block away?
And that's what makes it so impactful. Because I think the map says it's a 6-minute drive. Again, that's just because of red lights and stuff. But because of the traffic, it turns into a 12-minute drive. Which when you're when it's doubling the time, I wind up late. And so I haven't had a chance to enjoy. Apparently, it's the best time of the year, but all I see is big construction things going on, and I'm stressed trying to get here.
So the 10 minutes before getting here is the only time you can enjoy the day?
I was gonna say that this is the lowest time on the totem pole for me in terms of enjoying the day.
It only gets better.
Yeah.
Well, then the other thing
Not
is
because of you guys.
No, just you gotta. It's in the morning. You gotta do shit.
See, I'm almost done being sick after 2 weeks of this since the parade, but that means that I just sit at home and take a lot of naps, and because you just think if I just sleep a lot, it's going to end.
Yeah.
And it doesn't end, and so
Wow.
I've been outside seems like the opposite of what you're supposed to do.
Maybe you need that vitamin C, Hank.
Oh shit, that's from vitamin D's the sun.
You're right. Vitamin D.
Maybe I need that vitamin
Yeah,
D.
need
yeah,
that
yeah,
vitamin.
it's true.
You need the D.
Man,
Or I need to eat an orange
you need
too.
the D. Yeah.
Need the
Also,
D.
Eric pointed out in the
Sunny
comments
D.
that I was grilling with the Shador's #2 barbecue sauce.
You were.
It's actually really good.
Is it?
I like
what's
how
the
you have to
difference?
press because it's a CU thing.
Well, no,
he has to
right,
preface
right.
it with it's actually because we all know you're
Well,
gonna
they're
say
also
anything.
an advertiser.
You said last year's Colorado Buffaloes team was good.
No, I
you were
didn't.
like, this is a good team. They're gonna win more than half a game this year.
Honestly,
and they did.
last year was probably the lowest I've ever been on the Buffs.
Yeah, no, it's true.
I didn't have any faith ever.
Hence your shirt. You're back, baby.
Yep. Back in Miami.
Some of the people, because I went on the Buffs pod while you were gone last week, they hate me.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're angry.
It's kind of one of the. You ever met someone where you're like, how they were kind of weird, and then your friend tells you they have to trust you first before they really open up to you.
Sure.
That's how the Buffs commenters are.
Damn.
It's crazy.
Well, I was thinking maybe it's like Henry's just been bad luck for the Buffs beat. I mean, what's the best they've been when you were covering them?
4-2
Five.
ranked Alma Bowl.
Okay. And,
Oh, all right, 4-2.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now take out COVID year. What's the best they've been?
They won 4. Did they win 4 games the year
No,
before?
the Mel Tucker
Mel
year.
was 5. It was 5 again.
Okay,
Yep.
still losing record, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, just like me outside of 1 year. But I mean,
True.
maybe they just associate you with, bad vibes, Henry.
Maybe.
Anyways. The sauce
Yeah.
is actually fire.
Actually, it's just getting me that you keep saying
Because I
actually.
just
Actually.
like I have lots of reasons why I would be biased
yeah,
about it.
yeah, it's fair.
That is true.
But I choose that over any other barbecue sauce in my kitchen.
I love to hear that. Do you lather it before putting it on the grill or after or both?
So again, shout out to a longtime listener. I'm sorry for forgetting your name. They sent me this Blue Devil Pits, like barbecue sauce.
Okay.
From Barbecue Country.
Okay.
And I'm
You're
guessing
speaking
North
Spanish to me. I have
Carolina
no
based
idea
on the
what
name.
this is.
But it was just like a seasoning. So
Ooh.
they sent me sauces, seasonings, all this stuff. So
Yeah.
first I seasoned it with that.
Yeah.
Then I poured some barbecue sauce on it, let it marinate in that. Then basted some more on it while it's grilling. Then a little bit more on the side.
Man, that's
Wow.
exactly what I would do because you can never have enough sauce,
No.
especially if it's good sauce.
Yep. This was probably the best barbecue chicken I've ever made.
Man, I'm dying. This sounds so good right now.
Yeah, on thighs too. Not breasts.
I was able to find it. It turns out it was mostly this one guy who really hated me. And his name was I'm Here to Cause Trouble.
That should make you feel better, Henry.
But it's
I
crazy.
heard it was a
He
tough crowd
responded
for you.
over and over and over. I'm just done watching that. I just got done watching. That guy had no clue what he was talking about the entire show. First he said Colorado might not. I was like, I took the over. Like I like them better than Vegas does. Like I don't know.
I could have given you like a guide.
Yeah. You
Things,
start-
what to say, what not to say.
I'm just being honest.
Hey,
Yep.
I was producing the show the day after you were gone,
Wow.
and people were like, "That guy from yesterday was really bad." Don't
Oh
ever
my
bring him back
gosh.
on."
Well, Henry, this is a safe space. You're
Okay.
back in safety.
The Broncos are going to win the Super Bowl.
There
Every one of
you
them
go.
is good.
Now you're lying.
Ever
to
heard
us.
of the Pro Bowl? It's actually just gonna be NFC against the Broncos this year.
Is it gonna be the bet? Well, it can't be that if they're all going to the Super Bowl. So now
Oh,
you're
shit.
not
Damn
adding
it, now
up
these
right
guys hate
here.
me too.
Yeah. Is this gonna be the best training camp ever, Hank?
No.
See, you got no. It's
People
not.
are gonna
It's
hate.
not.
People are
It's
gonna
not.
hate both of you.
It's
Yeah.
the truth. I think they're also angry.
The fans?
Yeah,
They should be.
yeah.
There's no way I just don't think you can beat a Peyton Manning run training camp.
Or Tim
Or-
Tebow?
Or training camp in Greeley.
Yeah.
I'm
Those
still,
had those pros and cons though for fans.
I'm still team bring it back to Greeley.
Really?
Yeah.
Bring it back to. Yeah, I guess you'd be bringing it back.
Yep. Three of
Why?
us would just get an Airbnb in Greeley
man.
for
That's why.
2 weeks.
Oh
Hang out up there.
man. Oh man.
It's like, huh? Why would you want to go back to? That's why we would want to go.
The
to
real
'cause
reason
it'd be
is because
fun.
back in the day,
Yeah.
why do anything if not for it being fun?
Yeah.
Back in the day, training camp was in Greeley. Back in that day, there was like one good bar in Greeley.
Yep.
Who knows if there's 2 or 3 by now. And
Or 0.
all the media would stay up there at like a hotel, and of course all the Broncos are up there too. And like, what do you do at night? Everyone goes to the bar.
Yep.
And so like you would have a chance to just like meet these guys, build relationships
Everyone.
with them.
Yep.
Which we rarely get a chance to do. You kind of have to like luck into seeing these people in public.
I just go to the
Yeah.
bar by Dove Valley every night. It's popping.
yeah?
Yeah, everyone's there.
Go to
I can't even think of a
Elway's?
bar that's close
It's
to
the
Dove.
prison.
Oh,
Yeah.
prison
Prison.
bar. I think it's just a jail.
It's just I always get that, but yes, it's just a jail. But I mean, that is what is surrounding the Broncos facility.
Yep.
You have a jail, and then on the other side you have a park, and then some new construction.
Some like
There's like nothing.
industrial
Yeah.
areas.
Yeah. So there's not the hometown feel like Greeley training.
Go to
camp
the
was.
airport bar.
Oh, that's true.
I assume they have a bar there.
They have a restaurant.
Well, there you go. Probably
Yeah.
has a bar.
The perfect landing.
Oh look, Pat's here. Pat Surtain, Pat and Damari just hanging out there. They're watching the planes go by.
Worst ways to spend an evening.
I'd be down.
Oh, I'd so be down. I love airports.
We know. I don't think that one would have the feel that you're looking for.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't quite have
No.
that. A little too private for me.
Yeah.
I like being one of the people.
Yeah, just just crowds.
Yeah, like Russell Wilson.
People that are in a rush.
Russ is trying this
Stress.
out. Yeah, exactly. I love that.
Anxiety in the air.
I love it. Don't give me TSA pre. I want to be in the line.
Wow.
The line last time I went there was insane.
Yeah, that's the thing that just happens now.
I know, but like, so it does the whole thing where it goes like back and forth and back and forth, and then it went all the way over to the baggage claims,
Yeah.
and then like 75% of the way up.
Oh my God.
It's crazy.
Did
And
you
they
make it okay?
I went up to the bridge, and it actually worked that time. The time before, I went up to the bridge, and it was actually longer.
I don't want to like gatekeep secrets, but that one's one I just don't want people to know about.
The bridge is amazing.
That's fair. Especially if we're going to be at airports similar time as Bronco fans, maybe not one to share.
It's true.
I think this is just like, you know how there's way more traffic these days
Yep.
because more people
Yeah.
live here.
Yeah.
I think this is part of the.
They're
part of
trying
all
to
that.
expand. They're trying to expand.
Also, like 90% of the butterflies have died in like the last 20 years. Or the population's
Oh my
decreased. They've
God.
all died. They don't live that long. And so like when we were golfing, I saw a butterfly. I was like, holy shit. I haven't seen a butterfly and I don't even know how long. Same thing with not same thing with birds. It's like the population's down like 50% since the 70s or something.
Wow, that's terrible.
bad.
It is. It
wow.
just sucks.
Seems bad.
Way to just ruin the vibe.
Well, it just reminded me there's cars everywhere and there's no butterflies.
Those two
Terrible
things
trade.
probably go together.
Terrible trade.
Yeah.
Terrible trade. Okay, the Broncos.
The Broncos.
So you mentioned it, training camp, and the training camp schedule is out, and this is kind of the first domino, right, that falls towards us actually seeing football.
Yep, exactly. The first domino when the Broncos are really actually back. And let's break it down in the differences. But first, I got to tell you about our friends over at Ibotta. This is a new partner, and you gotta check
Zach was
them
ready for this
out.
one.
What? Well, I've been using Ibotta for like 15 years now.
Really?
And it's this awesome service, I guess as you would call it, where it gives you cash back on things that you already buy, like groceries, online purchases, and more. All you have to do is upload your receipt after shopping and watch your cash back grow. You can do this, like I said, online. You can do it in grocery
You've
stores.
been doing this for a long time.
Maybe not 15 years, 10 years at least. Yes,
Wow.
on my phone. Got the Ibotta app.
It's like I bought something.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Just
Clever.
like In We Go. It took me forever to figure that out. Everyone else
Everyone
knew.
was calling
Oh,
it
is this
In We
Swedish?
Go.
In We Go. Yeah, and I'm like, In We Go. Yeah, I had
Yeah,
no idea.
yeah.
I bought so it's IBOTTA, pronounced like I bought a blank. And a big thing you do this at least I've been doing it at, is liquor stores. When you go get that Breck beer, they could have an Ibotta for you, which says you're already going to buy it. You get $3 cash back or whatever the deal is.
Right then and there.
Right on your phone. Yep. You just take a picture of your receipt, upload it, and then it goes. I believe you transfer it into your PayPal account. You can do your bank account. You can do it into gift
Sick.
cards after. And let's say a store has Breck beer. Let's say it's $15 typically. They have a sale to make it $12. And then Ibotta also has it. You can get like another $3 off. So you can be getting a $15 beer for $8 or $9.
Wow.
It's incredible. It's awesome to stack coupons on top of each other, and the average Ibotta user earns $120 a year in real cash back. And like I said, you can use that on groceries, you can use it on alcohol, you can use it on so many different things. So check them out. Go, and they're offering $5 for just trying Ibotta. Go get the free Ibotta app in the App Store or Google Play. It's IBOTTA, and use that code DNVR when you sign up to get $5 right away, and then stack those earnings on top of each other. That's IBOTTA in your App Store.
That's pretty
Good
crazy.
shit.
That's I don't know.
Should I
That's
start off with this is actually awesome?
This is actually awesome. You know what else is
I
actually
believed you.
awesome?
You didn't have to say it.
Oh, good.
Kind love. We love Kind
Actually
Love.
awesome,
Hey,
dude.
the other thing is Kind Love loves us also, which is a lot of fun. They came in and just gave everybody like a bunch of stuff to try, which at first you hear it and you're just like, oh, I love free things. But then you're like, oh, this actually makes a lot of sense for them, because now we see how awesome everything that Kind Love makes actually is. In particular, the Turbo Core. And what the Turbo Core is It's like a toothpick that's made out of very simple natural things. There's only 3 ingredients, but one of them is very potent THC, which it does most of the heavy lifting there. That and like the point, so you can shove it into like a joint and a blunt or like a cigarette or whatever you want, and it just turbocharges the joint or whatever, and it's really crazy. I think it says on the thing it's like 3 to 5 times more powerful than a regular joint if you put the thing in. I trust it. And so
It's actually dope.
It's actually dope. It's actually crazy.
Dope. Nice.
Dope. So Kind Love has that. It's turbo joint, uses the same technology. 0.7 grams of whole bud combined with the 0.3 gram turbo keef. You can just imagine what that can do to you. So you got the Turbo Core, which is actually sold in more than 100 stores around the state, and Kind Love flower is as well. So definitely go check out Kind Love, especially because as a DNVR listener, if you mention DNVR, you can get the DNVR exclusive discount of 25% off all Kind Love flower pre-rolls and their Turbo Joint line. They've got stores in Cherry Creek and North Denver. So visit their website, kindlove.com, and you could check out their menu. Remember to mention DNVR so that you can get that 25% off.
I'm going to Dead and Company at Folsom Field on Saturday.
Boy.
Oh, man.
Gonna kind love it up.
Oh, there's
That's,
going to be so many turbos there. Wow. Oh, my goodness. That's an annual tradition, right?
It is
At Folsom?
It is.
The
Yep.
final annual
I would say that
Really?
edition.
liking the Grateful Dead is the most bolder thing about me.
I mean, that's about as
Wow.
boulder as it gets, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, just going to Folsom Field. I think I've said this before, but when you get up there for these Dead and Co. Concerts, it feels like you went into a time machine.
It's crazy.
Like you just go immediately back to the 70s.
Oh, I bet. I
it's
bet.
so cool.
Yeah.
I bet. Yeah.
Like it's all the old Volkswagen vans and
Yeah.
stuff driving around. There's like people who look like they're from the 70s
I
who are
got
just
some-
like walking on the sides of the highway. And you're just like, what is going on here?
I got some sunglasses that I'm gonna wear that are like sepia toned.
wow.
Gonna just add to the
Of course.
effect.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Maybe some black and white ones, so it just looks like you're living back in black and white days.
Yeah, I mean this is a little after black and
Oh,
white.
okay.
When
are you-
did that? And that was like the 50s probably.
Probably.
Yeah, it's a great question. When did sports become color?
Ooh.
Well, I'm trying to think. Like, have you seen Broncos highlights in black and white? Because I don't think
No.
I have.
No, I don't.
So that's 1960.
Okay. Right.
So probably sometime
just
before that.
I
right
stand
before.
by 50s. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Say 1956. Oh, okay.
Look at this. Can you guys see the color in this? And yeah, here, let's pull up the training camp schedule here because I think it's popping in color.
Oh,
Look at that
So much color.
beautiful thing. And I'm not talking about the graphic. It's a pretty basic graphic. I'm talking about the Broncos training camp schedule. Guys, 1 month from tomorrow, the Broncos are back. And actually, 1 month from today, training camp for us and the news cycle officially gets going. So we're just 1 month away because in 1 month from now, we'll be talking to Sean Payton. We'll be talking to George Payton. We'll be talking to Russell Wilson. We'll be talking to the key players for the Broncos in their pre-training camp media event. And then the very next day, training camp starts. They're kicking it off on a Friday. And should we just go through these dates? There's 12 training camp practices that the Broncos are going to have. And so 12 of them. It starts on the 28th of July. Then they have a practice on the 29th, a day off. So kind of a nice way to integrate yourself. 2 days of practice, then a day off before practice on the 31st, 1st, 2nd, another day off. Then they practice on the 4th and 5th. Then we'll break this down a little bit later, but then they have the 6th and 7th off. No training camp or no preseason games then, just 2 days off. Then they have practice on the 8th, 9th, and then their first preseason game on the 11th. So they have a couple of days off. Then they round out training camp on the 15th, 16th, and 17th. Anything jump out to you about this schedule? About 12 practices?
Lots of consecutive practices.
There is that.
Yeah. I think
Can you bring it back
where
up on
is
the
that
screen?
gap? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 6th, 7th off. I felt like we didn't get many back-to-backs off last year.
No, I don't know if there were any.
I almost thought Like it was like Mondays are off or something like that, or Tuesdays are off.
I think it was Sundays.
Was it Sundays?
Yep.
That's where I went first, but then I was like, well, no, it seems like they would want the fans on Sundays, but Sundays are off this year.
Yep. Sundays are off this year. My big takeaway is last year, and we're going to dive into the differences between last year and this year, but last year it was like the easy training camp, right?
Yeah.
Nathaniel Hackett built it so these guys were barely doing anything. And we just heard it was going to be the total opposite with Sean Payton. When Sean Payton's been asked what his training camps are going to be like, if there's going to be tackling, if there's going to be hitting, if it's going to be fast and hard on these guys, he's said, like, it's football. We need to practice football by playing football. He maximized all of minicamp in order to make sure that practices were 2.5 hours. They were going 2.5 hours and 5 minutes over. He is going to maximize training camp as well. And so when I look at this schedule, it actually doesn't seem too bad. Like Henry said, the guys get a couple of days off in a row, which is pretty rare for Broncos. The longest stretch they have in one time is 3 days. 3 days is their longest stretch. I remember...
But Nathaniel Hackett had no more than 2, right?
2, but then the third day was they had a walkthrough.
Okay.
But in terms of intense practices, only 2, which maybe Sean's thinking, okay, we're not going to have as many practices potentially, or we're going to have a few more breaks, but when we're practicing, we're actually going to be practicing. Whereas Hackett was kind of 2 days on, 1 day off, then a day off, then 2 days on, a walkthrough, which is kind of the lighter day, and then a day off. So yeah, you do have a point there, but the longest that they have is a 3-day stretch. And then there's other times that the Broncos have significant time off after. So they practice on the 9th of August, then they have a day off, then their preseason game is on the 11th. So the preseason game on the 11th, typically they would be back at practice, training camp practice on the 13th. They get the 12th off and then be back on the 13th. They're not back until the 15th of August. So I don't think Sean's just going to be giving them 5 days off after a game. They're probably going to be doing meetings, but it's clear that this plan is showing that he's going to be working the starters a decent amount in that game because he doesn't want them then practicing, 48 hours after.
Yeah, and I think that makes sense. And we don't know for sure that there won't be a bunch of days off in there. Like he, in theory, still could just say like, veteran rest days, we're doing those, even though he's never really done them before, and it sounds crazy for him to do that. So we don't know exactly what that will look like. All we have is guesses, but it does seem like this is going to be much more rigorous than what Nathaniel Hackett did. I mean, almost anybody would be more rigorous. Oh, I guess you can't even say that, though, because Sean McVay won't be more rigorous. Kyle Shanahan won't be more rigorous.
They'll be at the same level as
exactly.
What Hackett did.
There will be half the league that's doing the same thing. The Jets will be doing... I wonder if the Jets will be doing the same thing. There will be a bunch of teams doing that same thing.
Yeah, this is interesting because I'm very much in favor of protecting the players. And I think that this is a nice in-between. I think that Sean Payton is going to have rigorous practices. But maybe you can't do both. Maybe you can't do rigorous practices 7 days straight.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
in the end, I think Sean Payton understands that he needs the veterans on this team to be on his side.
Yep.
So if you come in with this like hard ass nature and you're, just kind of being a tyrant, you're going to lose the veterans. You can't have that. So you have to have a combination of taking care of their bodies while also, nailing in what you want to nail in. And I think that this is probably going to be a nice happy medium.
Yep, I completely agree, and I like it because Sean is going to make these practices intense. But I mean, in past years, there have been stretches of 5 and 6 days where players have not got a day off. Sean is going to make training camp practices really, really tough, but he's not going to make it just a true grind where there's no days off in between. And I like that. And another thing, because Nathaniel Hackett last year gave 2 days on, 1 day a walkthrough, and then a day off. That's essentially how training camp went last year for the most part. There were no veteran rest days outside of Kareem Jackson. And remember what Nathaniel Hackett called it? He called it an old day. And only one player got an old day. That was Kareem Jackson.
Yep.
I would expect with Sean probably going full go all of these practices in which he's allowed, you're probably going to see a couple of more veteran rest days for other players. Maybe a Justin Simmons gets a veteran rest day as well. Probably not any offensive linemen as they're still kind of moving their way back. Maybe you see Samaje Perine get a veteran rest day here or there. A Josie Jewell. I think you're going to see a few more rest days because Sean Payton wants to not lose those veterans, Ryan.
Here's the other part of this. What do Sean McVay's teams, Kyle Shanahan's teams, Matt LaFleur teams, Mike McDaniel teams, all these guys who kind of followed the Nathaniel Hackett strategy last year, what do all those teams have in common?
I don't know.
They've been good.
Right.
Save for the Rams last year, they've been good every year of the Sean McVay era. Mm-hmm. The Niners haven't been good the whole time, but they've been good for a while now. Mm-hmm. The Packers, of course, were good every year. Mm-hmm. The Dolphins last year were good.
Yep.
I'm sure there's more young coaches out there that are, Zach Taylor.
Right.
I'm guessing does this a similar thing. Bengals have been good. The Broncos have not.
No.
And I think there is something to the fact that Sean Payton has to come in and toughen them up. Like, literally.
Big time.
Just toughen them up.
Big time.
Which sounds crazy because we're talking about professional football players. They're obviously a hell of a lot tougher than any of us.
Yep.
But maybe they've gotten just a little soft with the way things were run. And certainly last year, I don't think it helped. Despite the fact that I was pro protecting the players, there's just certain things that, like, you have to kind of break the mold. And for whatever reason right now, the Broncos have not been like a tough, disciplined, hard-nosed football team for a long time.
In fact, I believe it's like over the past 8 or 10 years, the Broncos have had the most unsportsmanlike conduct penalties in the NFL. I believe I saw that stat floating around this morning. I don't remember who, so I'm sorry to not give credit there, but that kind of points to what you're saying. And also a big difference between most of those teams you just mentioned, not all, but most of them, is, and probably the only true, real red flag from Nathaniel Hackett taking it so easy on the team last year before everything fell apart, was Nathaniel Hackett was coming into a team and building a whole new system and then not really practicing it all that much with the team. The Kyle Shanahans, the Sean McVays, the Zach Taylors of the world have been with their teams for a long time. Their teams know what to expect. The McFleur or Mick, what can I think? Matt LaFleur. Yes, thank you. Matt LaFleur. He had been there for so long and had that culture, and the guys knew what to expect, and the guys knew the playbook for the most part already. So you didn't need to have 100% practices. That's the biggest red flag when Nathaniel Hackett did this last year was, wait, there's so much new stuff, but you're only going to practice 66% of the time and really implement it that much. So that was a concern. And Sean Payton, if he would have come here and do the exact same thing, it would be the same concern. It would be like, wait, you're not going to fully practice, yet you're installing all of these new things. So the Broncos, 1, haven't earned anything, like you said, Ryan. 2, the Broncos need to get tougher, like you said. And then 3, the Broncos just simply need as much practice as they can get. So they're going to maximize these days.
And I think toughness and discipline goes a long way. And when personally, like when I think what's like tough and discipline, I'm thinking like the military, right?
Yeah.
And what do you think of when you think of that, like a drill sergeant or anything, like a hard ass, right? And that's what Sean Payton is. He's a hard ass.
He is.
And so this is going to be at nowhere near the level of the military, but you bring in a guy who doesn't take any shit, who is not going to baby anyone. And I think you're going to end up with a tougher and more disciplined football team. We talked about this last year. Like, is anyone afraid to get a personal foul because when they walk over to the sidelines, they're going to get their ass chewed out by the coach?
Nope, not at all.
They will be this year.
Oh, yes. And also, on top of that, not just afraid to get their ass chewed out by the coach, afraid to be benched, afraid to be sat for a game, a series. Sean Payton's going to have no issues sitting anyone all the way up to Russell Wilson. Nathaniel Hackett was too afraid to even say that they weren't going to build the team around Russell Wilson after the season had gone miserably wrong. Sean Payton's going to have no problem just straight up benching Russell Wilson if things are going wrong 15 weeks into the season.
And I'm kind of curious if there's more practices that they aren't telling us about. Like, because the way everything's phrased is there's going to be 12 practices that are open
to the public.
The public, yeah. And last year there were 14, and I'm pretty sure the rule is you can get 16 padded practices during camp and then 16 during the season. So like 2 sets of 16. And so I do wonder, just because there's some gaps in there, if there's days that they are going to be going, but just not inviting people in. And I'm not, that's just a conspiracy theory, and there might even be rules against that. Like the rule might be like, if it's training camp practice, you have to do whatever. But the thought has crossed my mind.
Let's dive into some conspiracy theories, because there's another couple of interesting things. One really interesting thing that the Broncos may not be fully telling the truth about this training camp. And let me tell you about FOCO. In order to get Nuggets championship gear, this is the place to go. The DNVR locker, and also FOCO, the place to go where you can get merchandise, you can get bobbleheads, you can get everything for the Nuggets championship run. They've got it stocked up there, so check them out. Use that code DNVR when you go to FOCO.com to get 10% off. You want to get yourself something, you want to get a friend something, a family member. FOCO is the place for any and all sports gear, including the Nuggets championship. So check them out. They've got so many things on their website. We love FOCO. You're going to love FOCO as well. And use that code DNVR for 10% off. Colorado Golf.
Ooh, Colorado Golf. Got to join the Colorado Golf Association, mostly for many reasons. Mostly because you need a handicap. You need to get your official GIN number that you can use when you're playing your friends, so that you can't say, oh, yeah, like I think I'm like a 15 handicap, and then, you get 6 strokes that you didn't deserve. That's a big one. The other thing is they do these member play days, and then I think they're calling it the I forget what it is, but they also do these series of tournaments where you can compete against others. But the member play days yesterday, Spence and Mitch got to go up and play TPC Colorado. And I was curious how that was going to go for them. They played it from the tips. I believe it's the longest course in Colorado.
Didn't they say 8,000?
Just short of 8,000 yards. And I thought they were going to do better, but they shot a collective 161, which means it's tough. It's tough.
Yes.
Both of them averaged over 80, and I think it was Spence doing a little bit more of the rising average. But still, 161 from 2 really good golfers.
Are they about scratch?
Yes. So they wouldn't, you wouldn't have gotten a chance to play that course probably if it wasn't for these member play days. They're also doing one at the club at Ravenna, which I just heard was really cool from someone who went there the other day. And then I think I'm going to play in the 2-man shamble at Greeley Country Club. And the way that works is you both hit your drives, pick your favorite drive, then you each just play the rest of the hole from there. So a lot of fun things going on. And it's definitely worth being a member at the CGA. And I believe if you use the code DNVR, you can get $10 off.
You are a big Greeley fan now. You're a big Greeley guy.
How was Greeley this weekend?
It was great. The Stampede was. I wasn't expecting to roll. I thought we were just seeing a concert, even though I knew it was a Stampede. I wasn't expecting to roll up on a massive carnival with all these rides, and it was quite a time. Flo Rida. There's a reason that he's in Greeley performing now. He had a hype man who wasn't wearing a shirt sing like half his songs.
I believe it.
No idea who he was.
I said that was what's going to happen. I remember.
Yeah, you did.
What?
Yeah. There was he's got just hit after hit. When we were driving up there, we were just, the whole car ride, we were just listening to all his hits. And it's like, wow, this could be like a banger.
Yep.
I don't remember any of them. And there was also some other reasons why I might not remember it, but like I think I'd remember a lot of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a reason why Flo's in Greeley. But Greeley, I mean, man, you want to get a carnival on, they've got it.
He also went and just listened to all of his music.
Yes, he did. You're right.
It's enjoyable.
I did go back and watch. Somebody put together, it's like a 6-minute video of Flo Rida at a Broncos concert or the Broncos game.
How was it?
It's exactly that. It was exactly what I remember because I was nervous after. I was like, what if I'm misremembering what happened there? Because at the time I was covering the Buffs, so I was drinking in the stands. The Broncos were terrible. And so I was right though. It's just like that.
Yeah.
He doesn't really sing the songs.
Yeah, like Prime Flo probably wouldn't be playing at a Broncos halftime show.
Probably not.
Yeah. But I've weirdly played Greeley Country Club a few times, and I really like the course. It's like very clearly designed in the early 1900s or maybe even late 1800s. It has just like a very old school style.
Does that mean it's like Scotland courses where it's like very flat and long?
No, back in the day, like the early country club courses had like very small greens.
Okay.
And like tree lined fairways.
The
and stuff
complete
like
opposite
that.
of what I thought.
Yeah, no, it really is the opposite. But it's a fun course.
All right, when is that coming up? Is it soon?
I want to say it's in mid-August, maybe mid-July.
Mid-August. Okay, because what I'll say is I never thought I'd say this about Greeley, but I got to give it props. All of northern Colorado is so pretty right now because everything is so green because of just all the... I thought we were in like the Netherlands with how great... It was insane. Wow. I'm sure like after a month of 90 degrees, it'll all be dead and back to what we expect. But shout out to Greeley for being pretty right now.
There you go. Yeah. Greeley's getting some run this week.
Yeah, they really are. Yeah, training camp back up there.
Yep.
The grass would be good right now.
We could play GCC all day.
So, a couple of things with Broncos training camp. Well, really one that's kind of jumping out to me. The Broncos are requiring tickets now. They're free. That doesn't really faze me, bother me too much. But that is a change.
It kind of phases me.
It phases me a little too.
Why?
Well, the big thing is last year I just went as a fan every day just because I like the view better.
Yeah.
Now if I want to do that, I have to go secure a ticket for every practice.
So I think the reason they're doing tickets is something that we have. I wouldn't say we've complained about media access with Sean Payton. We've just made it clear that he is very much limiting media access. He's also, as Henry knows, Sean has limited where we're allowed to stand. Typically, the media is on the field, not like where the players are, but on the field. So we're completely out of fans' ways. They can open up the entire hill for all the fans. Everything where the fans are can be completely fan-oriented. Well, Sean has put us now on the hill.
Oh.
And we were there all of the offseason. Great view from our perspective. I love it as well. Just like you're saying, it's a better view perspective. But he's going to keep us there for training camp.
Okay.
And I don't think he's just going to mingle us in with the fans. He's going to have a spot for us. So that's going to take up some of the room where fans can be. So now this is actually Sean's media guidelines are going to impact fans, I think, because it's going to just lessen the area that fans can be. And we found that out because they're putting a cap of 3,000 tickets being sold, being quote unquote sold, given out for free to each practice. Last year, I think they had 7,000 fans at one.
Really?
So,
it was like 7,200, I think, for Russell's
the
first.
Cowboys?
Like the first Saturday or something.
So potentially they're cutting the attendance by over half. Now, here's a conspiracy theory. I kind of just laid out the background why I think it's a conspiracy theory. The Broncos, in their article of putting this out, said that's per Arapahoe County regulations. Why weren't these regulations here the past 15 years? Unless, and maybe here's the big caveat, unless really Arapahoe County decide to put regulations in for size of Broncos training camp in 2023, and this is the first year they've done it, then this is nothing. It's true. But like, I think this is Sean saying, I want expectations really tempered. I don't want as many people here watching. I want everything cooled down, just like he's done all off season.
I don't think there's any difference between 3,000 and 7,000 in that regard.
Just the team seeing a berm full of people and it's stuffed and it's setting records compared to just like a half of what it was.
Yeah, I do think it changes the vibe at practice by quite a bit.
That sucks.
Yeah.
It does suck. Well, and the thing about the requiring tickets is that, I mean, I guess there's a bunch of things. The big one is that before it was just you show up there early, you get to go in.
Yeah.
And I get there's people who are families and, you know, they want to be able to plan, and they were turning people away last year, and so that would kind of suck. At the same time, though, it's kind of a cool thing to say, like, if you're not out there an hour before practice, you don't get it. Like, the diehards are the ones who get in, and that's the way that it should be.
Yep.
You know, and so you plan your day around it. So I don't like it for that reason, but also, like, if I were a fan, I might go claim some tickets today and say, like, I'm just gonna get tomorrow. Tomorrow and get them for like 4 different days and say, like, I'm not really sure when I'm gonna be able to go, but I definitely want to be able to go. And then some tickets don't get used, and so you wind up with 1,500 at every practice instead of 3,000 because half the people can't make it. Or, you know, you claim them for July 29th or something, and it turns out that's a rain day, so they're inside. It's like, oh, that was the one that I claimed tickets for, and guess what? Tomorrow's are already sold out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's just a bunch of little things that I don't like.
In general, it's bad. It's worse.
Yeah, it is. It is. And
Yeah.
to be fair, the Broncos did this their very first training camp when they moved back to Denver and to Dove Valley. They gave out free tickets. You had to have a ticket to go in. They did it for 1 year. And it's because they were worried about, we were just in Greeley and there were so many people here. What's it going to be like when we're in Denver? So they wanted to make sure that everything was not too overcrowded. So that's why they did tickets that year. In 2003, haven't done it since. And I feel like the crowd's regulated itself fine. I mean, last year it was very busy at times, 7,000 people. But I do think fans understand, like, this is a free event, first come, first serve. And now they're just really cutting it.
There's going to be so much less than 3,000 people there every day.
Yeah.
Because of last year?
No, because everyone's going to go on there and claim the tickets
Yeah.
and then just choose which ones they want to go to later.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
the issue with free tickets to something.
And you can claim up to 4. I don't know if it's per day or like every purchase or what it is.
4 per day per person.
So yeah, one person can grab 4, and then if you don't go, you're cutting it at 75, or you're taking 4 tickets away.
Only dub here, traffic and parking.
Oh my
No,
gosh,
that will
yes.
be nice. That will be nice.
Huge dub for traffic and parking.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Sean. And if there's a sign right outside the Broncos that says no U-turn,
Don't
listen
do it.
to it.
Don't
do
the
a
Yeah.
U-turn.
Oh my
They put
goodness.
these signs up, and to be fair, they put like 3 up. You get a very fair warning about it. And if you do a U-turn, cops are gonna be there.
Well, and
But it's got to be the U-turn ticket capital. of the
Oh,
world.
I
it
got one.
absolutely is.
it was like 5 years ago because you expect the no U-turn sign to be like next to the light where your eyes are when you're
Right.
like getting ready to do things on a road. And it said it's like off to the side
Yeah.
in like the median thing.
Because it's just for training camp.
Yeah, well, and I'm pretty sure like even where you pull up to stop, the sign is back behind it, so you can't see it when you're sitting there. You have to see it driving up, and when you're driving up, you're watching the light to see if you can go.
I hope you
ugh.
gave this excuse to the officer when he pulled you over.
No, I can't
No,
remember
you
if he gave
didn't.
me a ticket. That was so long ago
The
now.
trick is like you don't turn onto Broncos Parkway, you turn onto like Peoria or whatever that other one is.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to worry about
And then you
Exactly.
don't have to do the U-turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I can't believe how many people I see every single day at training camp who do that.
Every
and
day.
then 30 seconds later, there's flashing lights behind them.
Yep.
Damn.
That's a huge, yeah. So, anyways, I don't like the ticket thing. I'm gonna have to talk to you guys about my strategy after this. But
There are things called press passes.
well, that's what I was gonna say. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I just want to act like, can you just give me one?
I'm going to try.
Yeah. Like I
Yes.
won't even do the press things. I just don't want to have to deal with the tickets.
Yes. We should be able to. We've been doing this for a while. Should
Yeah.
be able to get you in.
I think so,
I think
too.
we know a couple of people.
I think we know a couple people
do.
for sure. All right. What else about these practices stand out to you or could stand out to you later?
So the
Every-
interesting.
oh.
Sorry, you go.
Every fan gets a free 12-ounce bottle of water.
Nice.
That's nice.
Yep.
Keep people from literally like passing out on the
Yeah.
hill. Yeah.
So like you win some, you lose some.
What are the other benefits?
If you drive a Ford and you show them your key, you get 15% off your total purchase at the team store.
Oh, you know why? Denver Broncos training camp presented by Ford.
By Ford. Yeah. Also, the first 30 fans who are there, so like in line, so you obviously have to have your ticket. You get there, you get in line. First 30 fans who have a Ford key fob at the Ford.
Give me a fucking break.
Hey, at the Ford Fast Pass tent, you have to be prior to the gates opening.
There's so many rules for this one.
You'll be granted entry before the general public.
Ooh.
And you'll have the opportunity to sit in the front row.
Oh.
Also interesting that it's 30 because obviously you can fit more than 30 across the front there. You could probably fit maybe even close to 100. I wonder if the media section's kind of like a vertical
No,
stretch.
it's to honor Ford's 30 different brands.
Oh.
Yeah.
So here's what you guys are gonna do: go on eBay right now and search Ford key fob.
Exactly.
Go
that
get-
actually
yep.
sit in front row if you want autographs.
Definitely.
That's a big deal.
Well, like,
Yep.
again, but that was kind of the fun before. It was like, you got to be there at 7:45 if you want to do that.
Earlier than
It was
that.
like, it's for the diehards, you know?
Yep.
It's Ford, the diehard.
Stop.
Please, Henry.
Now
come
it's
on.
Ford, the casuals.
Yeah, and Henry, I just want to go back
25
to
bucks.
$25. There
Yep.
you go.
Oh, no.
Okay. So, Brian, you mentioned this. You can get tickets tomorrow on Ticketmaster. I asked this question to you here and Henry before the show started. Tickets are free, but whenever you hear Ticketmaster, do you think there's going to be fees?
No way.
You don't think so?
There's no
They
way.
Both
can't.
Henry and well, at least Yahir said he thinks there's going to be fees.
They
That
can't
doesn't
have
surprise
fees.
me. But no, there will not be fees.
Don't you think Ticketmaster's going to be like, oh, there's a $10 processing fee, $5
No,
processing
no.
fee? Dude,
I don't think
That's
they'd let 'em.
illegal.
Yeah, I don't think they'd
There's a lot
let
of things
them.
that are illegal and that still happen and
I
nobody
feel like
knows about.
Ticketmaster does all the illegal things.
I know, but they've been on the radar more recently.
Well, that's very true.
That is true.
I got like $27 or something in like a class action lawsuit.
Dang, nice.
Wow.
I just signed up for one of those. I don't remember what it's for. Oh, it's for Facebook.
Oh,
Yeah.
There's
going
just like
class action
perpetual
on
Facebook class actions.
Yeah. So I think it would be total bullshit if there's fees with this.
It would be.
if there are, we riot.
Yes. Yeah. No fan goes to training camp.
Good luck
Or
with
we
that.
go to training camp and riot.
Yes. So I just really hope that's not Ryan. I really hope you're right with that. Just anytime I hear Ticketmaster, it scares me.
I know.
Yeah, you don't trust them.
No.
Also, if you're going to spend $167 at the team store, you will save money if you buy the $25 Ford key fob.
Dang.
You know who hates Ticketmaster more than anyone?
Who?
Zach Bryan.
No.
He's been on like a
wow.
huge crusade against Ticketmaster.
So are his
Wow.
tickets not on Ticketmaster?
His whole thing is he's trying to make it so you can't resell tickets.
Okay.
Interesting.
To scalp them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
Because
Love
he's like,
that.
Ticketmaster takes all this
Yep.
money when they get the resale and all this
Oh,
stuff. So.
damn. Now they're involved in the resale too?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
they've got their hand in every
Oh,
pot.
Whenever-
man. That's
I-
why I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little service charge.
I think usually for resale tickets, there's a 10% fee on the sellers. So it's like a $100 ticket, or you sell it for $100, you get 90, they get the other 10, and then there's a 20% fee for the buyers.
Oh my
So they pay
gosh.
120,
This is
and
disgusting.
they get the 20. So you get $30 off of a $100 ticket.
That is disgusting.
Yeah.
Man. And so, Henry, the other thing, football wise, what?
Wait, but then is Ticketmaster going to have a resale market on Broncos training camp tickets?
I don't
There's
think so.
no
Because I'm
way.
pretty sure you can't resell Rockies tickets on Ticketmaster. I think there's just like, you get to set the rules. So you'd think it'd be packed with resale tickets to buy. So, but yeah, so I'm pretty sure they'll just turn that off.
What do you think Broncos training camp tickets could go for on the secondary market with the cap being 3,000?
$25?
Yeah. Because
The highest?
so like practice number one, I guess it's a Friday. Like that first Saturday practice, that'd be the one where you
Oh,
expect
are you talking about like back together Saturday?
like back together weekends at. Come
Back
on.
together weekend. Thank you.
Like, come on. Which I thought was a COVID
That was a
thing.
COVID thing.
Yeah. It's like, oh, we can sell it. Might as well keep doing it. Yeah.
You know who that one's presented by?
What?
The Weekend.
Oh, the weekend. But yeah,
If
so
I were to guess, it's presented by Centura Health.
You're probably right.
yeah.
Oh, you're gonna see Centura Health
But
everywhere.
I thought it was UC Health.
No, that's
Where-
old
Wh-
news.
why'd you think
been?
that? Come
Where
on.
have you been?
Oh my goodness.
I
old
don't
news.
pay attention to branding of training camp facilities.
You
I'm
produced
sorry.
the show where we talk about
Defensive yaya is so
I
funny.
haven't been here in a minute. What do you guys want?
it. It was 2 months ago.
Who is training camp powered by? Yeah, here.
probably Ford.
Oh, good. You do
Probably.
pay attention
Probably.
sometimes.
But yeah, so like if you're trying to get into that back together weekend Saturday, I do think because everything's gonna be sold out, there'll be people like the day before we want to go, and I think it's like $20. But you can't. It won't actually happen, but it would be.
Right. Yeah, man. I hope not. I hope not. And one more football thing that you touched on. There's that gap between August 9th, they have a game on the 11th, and then the next training camp practice is until the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if Sean's doing some sort of practices. Now, I've never seen that. A real practice during training camp that's not open to fans. But if anyone's going to close fans off as much as they can, it would be Sean. Yeah. And I understand his reasoning. He's wanting to shut all the hype down. I believe 12 training camp practices is also the fewest I've seen. Maybe I've also seen like 12, but I don't think I've ever seen lower than that. So my guess is league rules are probably you have to have 12 practices open to fans or something like that. And that's exactly what Sean's doing.
Yep.
And
Also, all this Ticketmaster talk. Shout out to Game Time.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Oh, yeah. I mean,
The
literally
real ones.
no complaints ever with Game Time. And you go to any other service, and that's all it is.
Once I switched it just because like there are nominal fees. There's always going to be. Theirs aren't nearly as aggressive as Ticketmaster's, but you can switch it on the app to
Yeah.
just the price include the fees, and then you just never think about them anymore.
Yep.
And you choose a price to pay for the tickets that you're comfortable with.
you actually used to be able to do that on Ticketmaster, Then they took it away.
Of course
Probably
they did.
they probably were selling less tickets.
100%.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because their fees are that much more
Yes.
than Game Time and everywhere else.
100%.
And also, shout out to our friends over at Shady Rays. When you are going to Broncos training camp practice, you're going to want your free 12-ounce water that they give you. And you're also going to want Shady Rays
true.
because that
Tiny water bottle.
berm, yeah, it's
This
really,
is 20 ounces.
yeah, it's really
I think
tiny.
this is 12, right?
Yeah, it's like kid size. No, that's 16.
Is that what
That's
grande means?
Is that a
16?
grande? Yeah. Yeah, so even
How is
smaller
there even
than
a
that.
water bottle that's
Yeah.
the size of
It's
12
pretty-
ounces?
It's like all plastic, no water, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. But one
And
thing
a
that
nice
you're not.
big Ford logo.
Oh, yeah. One thing you're not going to get ripped off on is Shady Rays. In fact, they're giving a deal to all of our listeners. You buy 2 or more pairs of Shady Rays, you're going to get 50% off. Shady Rays are already polarized. Yahir is rocking a pair right now. Let's show those, Yahir. He's even wearing
Oh,
them in studio,
shit,
and that's
Yahya.
okay because of how sick these Shady Rays are. Those are
go
awesome.
hard.
When Yahir doesn't want to see the haters sitting on the other side of the camera, he just throws his Shady Rays on, and he's polarized from us. So get yourself a pair of Shady Rays. Get 2 pairs or more. 1 for yourself, 1 for someone else. 2 pairs for yourself. 4 pairs for yourself. 50% off. You use that code DNVR over at ShadyRays.com.
Yeah, that kind of looks like he's like a backup catcher for the Rockies
He
in 1997.
really does. Yeah.
With the catcher history, I'm probably starting for them at this point.
Dang. Tori Alba, one of my favorite
Yep.
Rockies players ever.
Yep.
Me too.
I forgot I had favorite players.
Dude had some fire. He had that dog in him.
Oh, he
Rare
did.
for baseball
He
players.
did have that dog. No Rockies right now have that dog in them.
It's so sad.
There probably
No,
is. We just
Ezekiel
don't know.
Tovar. Ezekiel
You'd
Tovar
have,
has that
it's the
dog.
same thing as like Bud Black. Is he a good manager? How could you possibly tell? Like, there's no way of knowing. Like, do those guys have the dog? What happens in a clutch situation?
I will say,
who
like,
knows?
I've always liked him. Now he's just lost enough games that I've moved to the point where just everything he does pisses me off.
But
Wow.
Yeah.
especially maybe like losing 25-1 or
Like
something.
they cut to his face when the dude gave up 3 home runs on 3 pitches, and he just looked like so annoyed.
Yeah.
And then I was annoyed at his face.
Wow. It's like, I don't know. It's like, what, third inning, I think they made another change after the third pitcher gave up like 4 runs or something.
Yeah.
One thing I
And
can
it's like, oh,
guarantee,
maybe you should have held on to that guy. Let him finish the inning out. Like, what are we doing?
who knows what would happen if I had to pitch an MLB game. I can guarantee one thing. I would not give up 3 home runs on 3 pitches.
You don't think
If
so?
I give up 2
Because
in a
you'd
row,
have
the
balls.
next one's in
Yeah,
the dirt
That's true.
or
It's
behind their
yeah,
back.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah. You wouldn't be doing that.
Nope, not giving up 3 home runs on 3 pitches.
Well, and the only guy ever to do it in MLB history is Chase Anderson. He's done it twice now.
Who's that?
The
He's,
guy that gave up the home run
Yeah.
3 times.
Oh,
Wait,
it was
he's done
the
it
same
twice?
guy.
yeah.
Holy
I'm pretty sure
shit.
it's. I'm pretty sure it's
my.
happened twice in
When he
MLB
stood
history.
up there
It's
for
him
that
both.
third pitch, he thought, no fucking way this happens to me again.
Yeah.
I'm throwing it right down the middle.
I mean, that's impressive, though.
Yeah, it is.
In baseball, to have the record twice
Yeah.
and no one else has done it. In baseball, everything's been done.
I know.
Everything. And is it sick of me when I saw it was, 23-0
We talked about this yesterday, and I
to
said
get
what
to
you
the.
were going to say.
Is it sick?
What?
To
What were
get to get to 31 runs? Because you know what that would have been?
the biggest ever?
It would, yes, it would have been the biggest ever. It also would have been the Broncos' most points scored last
Okay,
season.
that's not where I
Done
went.
by a baseball team.
I just said, like, once I saw it was 23-0, I wanted it to get as high as possible.
Yeah.
I was like, how crazy would it be if they lost 50-0? That'd be cool.
It was so depressing because the way I found out, I was with a buddy and he said, "Oh, the Angels are up 23-0 in the 4th," and I was like, "Well, who are they playing?" He's like, "Let me pull it up. The Rockies of fucking course."
That's almost the exact same thing that happened to me. Allie said it, and then I like opened it up to look at myself, and I was like, "And it's against the Rockies."
Yeah.
She was like, "What?"
Yes. Man, I would know about all of these games if the Rockies were good.
It's so
especially
sad.
right now, these 6 weeks off, it's all Colorado sports fans want is something.
Yeah.
If
I've
they
been to
were-
like 3
if they
games this year.
were-
Yeah.
Like back when they were good, I went to. I think it was 22 that summer. But there's just like, why would you do it?
I think the cutoff for me is
no
if they were
reason.
6 games under 500 right now, I'd be watching every game.
I told because you're in it then.
Yeah.
In it enough.
Yep.
Hank, how's your bet looking? Are they on pace?
It's not good.
It's
They
not.
won the
couldn't
series in
double
the end.
Which is also just an awesome cherry
By the
on
way,
top.
did you see that? Okay, so the Rockies won the series against the Angels and lost the game by 20 runs in the series.
Yep.
LSU last night wins the College World Series, and they lost the game by 20 runs in the series.
That is insane.
Yep.
That is what was it a 2-1? Was it a 3-game series?
3-game series. So they won the first one, lost the second one like 21-1 or something, and then won the third one.
That's honestly so impressive. I guess it's impressive for the Rockies to be able to win on Sunday, but it's even more impressive in the highest stakes ever to do that, to just totally
Wash it away.
Yeah.
Also, there's like a kind of like a cliche phrase that like the home announcers will say if their team's scoring so many runs, which is like, save some for tomorrow, boys. It actually applied in this case.
It did to both.
Yes. They needed to save some for tomorrow.
Yep, they certainly did. And that was LSU, right?
Yep. So congrats to LSU.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it had been like 40 years since they even made the College World Series.
Wow.
And there was a bar in town. Did you see this?
No.
So there's a bar in town in Omaha where they tally every single Jello shot purchased per team. So when you buy a team, you're like, I'm an LSU fan.
Yeah.
So then they tally it up. As of yesterday, and it's probably gone up since, LSU had purchased over 60,000 Jello shots
$5 each.
At one bar?
at one bar.
$5 each.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think the previous record was like 8.
Oh my, that's so cool because it shows like how many people are there.
Yes.
And
yes.
they've only been doing it for like 2 or 3 years. Or that's when it first like came out that they were doing it. But because they've done it, now all the fans when they go are like, oh, we got to go to that bar
Like
where they
one
sell
guy
the
bought
Jello shots.
1,000 just himself.
Exactly, and just like pass them out to everybody at the bar.
That is so
But they all
cool.
wanted to buy their own for their own teams.
What
Yeah.
a brilliant marketing idea.
Yeah.
I mean, the most brilliant.
Yes.
And I've also never wanted to party with LSU fans more.
I totally
Wow.
agree. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Imagine next year how do you make that many Jello shots?
That was what I was thinking. I was like, what kind of production line do they have where they like? Because I think the total's like well over 100,000 now. Like, how did they produce 100,000 Jello shots?
on top of like everything else they're doing.
Yeah.
It's mostly Jello shots.
Like, what does that look like though?
You just have a cup and you just keep dumping your Jello shots in.
Yeah.
You like sip
Where do you
Jello
store
shots.
5,000 Jello shots?
In the parking lot and coolers.
Oh my gosh! You know how there's seasonal workers? There's gonna be like seasonal Jello
Yeah.
shot workers.
Yeah. I mean, you
Someone's
can
just
make
gonna create
massive batches.
like a way to have it in a keg, and you can just
Right.
Pop
Oh
it out.
my gosh.
Wow.
Would that be cool or disgusting?
disgusting for sure.
A
Disgusting.
keg stand with Jello shots.
Oh, God.
You're upside down slurping it.
The entire allure of Jello shots makes 0 sense to me.
Yeah, they have
Jello
to.
shots are so good, man.
The key with Jello
the
shots.
whole point of a shot is to just get it down as fast as possible.
That's why the key with Jello shots, and this doesn't make any sense, is they have to be not very alcoholic. Because if they're alcoholic, it is so disgusting to eat an alcoholic Jello shot.
Well, then that's probably what these are.
Oh, I'm sure there's very
Very
little.
little.
alcohol. Yes.
So they're getting $5 for like 1/3 of a shot.
Oh yeah, and they're probably making so much money off those Jello
Oh,
shots.
yeah.
That'll carry them through the whole year for
Yep.
sure
Yep.
by like a lot.
Yep.
Maybe we should do it.
$500,000 on Jello shots.
Just do like Broncos, Nuggets, Rockies, Buffs, like leaderboard here. Jello
mean,
shots.
That'd actually be dope.
I hate Jello shots, so let's just do something else. But
That
then
would.
it'll at least make it
What?
ours.
There's
a little
nothing like a Jello
shots.
shot, though.
regular shots.
No, that's just lame.
It wouldn't be fair though because
Jello shots are lame.
Broncos
They're
would
not
be.
lame. No, Jello shots are not lame. They're fun.
Yeah, Jello shots are fun.
They're fun.
They're fun.
Otherwise,
fun.
it's just every time somebody gets a
it's
shot,
one-
then they just like,
1 to
oh, put
3
this
right
on
now.
the Nuggets.
Alyssa, Jake,
You get
Jello
this picture of
shots.
other people because you're losing.
Yes, a
Other people-
double thumbs
1 to
up from
4.
Alyssa.
Jake, Jello shots.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, you are in the.
How
How does
if-
anyone like them?
Well, for
'Cause
like a
we're
counter
fun,
like
I'm
that,
like
it can't
you.
just be something that somebody would always order.
Right. So what's
know?
something else? Like
Rakia shots.
a beer bong or something like that. Something unique.
We could have
Wow.
a beer bong that like stems out of here, and when you purchase one of us
Yes.
comes up here and pours
Wow.
it for you.
Could you imagine doing 60,000 in like a 2-week span?
That sounds messy.
That sounds disgusting.
Your arms just sore from
It's
pouring.
so messy.
That would just make the ground all sticky down there.
You could create
Very
a
much
clean way to do it. I don't know how yet, but
You like get in a trough in order to take your Jello shot, or in
Yeah.
order to take your beer bong.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyways, we are way off the rails.
Yeah,
Shall we
true.
dive into the comment section
do
really
it.
quick before buffs? First one coming in from Howie Boot My Boomer says super pumped for the condiment draft. That's what we're doing.
I think so. Yes. We just have to determine, is each hot sauce its own condiment, or is hot sauce a condiment?
That's its own draft.
The hot sauce
Hot
draft.
sauce. Yeah.
So then hot
I
sauce
agree.
is
Hot sauce is
just a
one.
condiment.
Yep, is one.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
mean, what do you guys think? That's
I
the
think
first thing that
that's
comes to
fair.
my mind because I think there's like thousands of hot sauces.
Probably
Hot sauce is
hundreds
just
of
one,
thousands.
yeah.
Well, it depends if you go like hot sauce flavor. I think that's like in its own condiment because you can also do like spicy mayo, which is an own condiment.
That's
I have too
different.
many questions.
not
I
a
don't
hot
want to give away
sauce.
my picks.
No.
I'll just leave
Spicy
it up.
mayo isn't a hot sauce.
No, but it kind of, what I'm saying is like a hot sauce mayo can have different variations, and you can pick different variations of mayo. So you
Right.
can pick different
Would you
variations
pick
of hot
mayo
sauce.
and spicy mayo in the condiment draft?
You
Like, are those two
wouldn't.
different picks?
You wouldn't, but you can get like a habanero hot sauce and a jalapeno hot sauce, and they're different.
They're the same.
It's hot sauce
They-
at the end of the day.
I couldn't tell you which is which.
Oh, one would be way hotter.
Habanero actually isn't that much hotter, but it is better.
I'm really surprised, Ryan, that you came up with or allowed the condiment draft. It seems too straightforward.
It was actually a commenter who said it.
Maybe
Okay,
it should be the
and you're just
worst
okay with
condiment
it.
draft.
Oh, Ryan would
No.
hate that. He hates the
You shouldn't
worst
draft
drafts-
bad things.
I think the worst drafts are the best ones.
Yeah.
I'm only capable of drafting good things, so I would lose. By the way, Zach, 10%?
Just flip your draft board.
We're on to next Friday. We're on to the
on,
we're on to the condiment draft, man. We're on to the condiment
10%?
draft. We're
I mean,
on to
there
the
was a
condiment
time
draft.
when 10% was a good draft for me.
Wow,
That's true.
Way
Yeah.
to just bury yourself.
I'm just
Henry.
saying,
I,
like,
I appreciate.
I'll be
that.
right there at the bottom this week.
I would venture to guess my lowest total ever was still in the 20s.
I just can't
Let's-
bring myself to pander.
Henry, let's bury him this week.
I'll do my best.
Bury
Good
him.
luck, boys.
Yeah. He then said hot sauce needs its own draft. The
Wow.
debate over the best hot sauce could be a whole separate draft. Best off-season content ever. Go Broncos, go DNVR. Go hot sauce.
I love hot
Love
sauce.
hot sauce. We got a couple of super chats too. Capwise coming in and says, good thing Payton believes in 7-on-7 drills. When Hackett said he thought they were pointless
During training camp.
during training camp, I knew the Broncos were doomed.
Wow.
I'm actually not a big 7-on-7 guy.
It's not real
Yeah.
football. Like,
But here's my thing. Does taking away the 7-on-7 reps add more 11-on-11 reps? If so, I'm in. If taking away the 7-on-7 reps just takes those reps away and you're doing like a drill or something, I'm against it.
and that's
Yeah.
what it did last year.
Because
Yeah.
the big thing is, it's 11-on-11. If you're just practicing the 7-on-7 things, is a waste of time for the lineman. So if you let the lineman go work on something else while you're doing the 7-on-7, which obviously you would, then it does make sense. But yeah, it just depends on what else you're doing instead.
And hearing linemen talk about what they do during the 7-on-7s typically, that really benefits them.
Yeah.
So if it does really benefit them, then maybe that's even worth it.
Wait, why does it benefit them?
Because they just say it really helps with their pass protections and
Yeah,
stuff.
because they get to go work on all their sets and do those sorts of things.
Yeah.
Whereas if you did like an 11-on-11 instead, I guess it's different now because they're all not padded practices. Then they're just out there 80% blocking, and that doesn't really help anything.
By the way, are they going to tackle to the ground in this Sean Payton training camp?
Well, who did it last year? Who was the biggest notable team that did it last year?
The Lions.
Where did Dan Campbell come from?
Yeah.
The Saints.
The Saints underneath.
Sean Payton.
So
Yeah.
I would think so.
And I would guess
Hell
this
yeah.
this will be one of the most physical camps in the league.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way it isn't with Sean Payton in charge.
Totally
And
agree.
like, that just... Because half the league just refuses to do anything semi-physical. And so then it's just where you shake out in there. Top 10 most physical for sure. Probably top 5. And... I don't know. I was
Feels like
looking...
you're only competing with Dan Campbell for top 1.
Yeah, I mean, you still have like the Patriots out there, the Steelers. Like, there's a bunch of teams that'll be out there.
What's crazy is I can't remember the guy's name. Remember the in Hard Knocks,
Ravens.
the Lions linebacker from Oklahoma who was like an undrafted or late 7th round rookie who ended up being like a beast. Rodrigo, they called him on the show.
Yeah.
Malcolm Rodriguez.
Yeah.
The reason why he stood out in that training camp was because of his physicality.
Yep.
And then they realized they had a guy.
Yep. Yeah, I
Yep.
mean, it's not so important for most positions on the field.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you could even make the case for every position outside of punter and kicker. that's important. So what I do find interesting is Sean Payton's training camp is like the complete opposite of Sean McVay's, yet they're supposed to have joint practice together.
And I think that's intentional. Like, I think you want to see something else. It's a lot like Kyle Shanahan before the 49ers game on the conference call with the reporters. Somebody asked him what it's like having like half the league now running his offense that he came up with. And he said it really sucks because now every defense in the league is practicing against it over and over and over again in training camp. And so you just want reps against something that's different. And there's actually there's a great story. I forget who wrote it, but NFL.com, it was back in like 2020 or 2019 or so, but it was before they played each other in the playoffs, the Saints and the 49ers. And it's just going through how they're the two best offenses, but they do everything completely different. Like the Rams are in 11 personnel basically the entire game. It's something like they've scored touchdowns out of 3 different personnel groupings. Maybe it's 4 different personnel groupings. But the Saints, on the flip side, they run more heavy packages than anybody else in the league. They use more personnel groupings. They've scored touchdowns out of like 14 different personnel groupings over the course of the season. Everything they do is the exact opposite, but it still works out.
So, good point. But what I was talking about was Sean Payton runs this super physical training camp. Sean McVay, kind of the exact opposite.
Yeah.
He runs the opposite. So I'm surprised that those two would want to link up. I would think it'd be like the Lions and the Broncos wanting to link up. Now, you only really get 3 options. You only get the teams that you're playing. One of them's the Cardinals. That's not very appealing to go up against them. Then the 49ers. That could have been appealing. And then the Rams.
Yeah. Yep. And we'll see how far they take it, but that will be the most physical part of the whole buildup for the Rams because they won't play their starters in the preseason.
Right.
So that's like that's as close as they're going to get to real football. So it'll still be amped down a little bit, but as amped up as they get.
Is everyone only playing one division in the preseason this year, or is that just a Broncos thing?
That's a good question. I don't know about the other teams. But an interesting thing, joint practice, not open to fans. That's the following week after training camp is over. That'll be the first time I've covered a joint practice without fans.
That's lame.
Definitely.
Yeah.
By far the best practice to go to.
Oh, without a doubt. You think the Rams are going to be broadcasting it? Just like the Cowboys were last year?
Interesting.
There's no chance.
No.
Not
I don't
with
think Sean Payton.
No.
Yeah.
He probably like looked around the league and was like, which teams won't do that?
I'm sure that was part of the negotiation.
I'm
The
sure it
Vikings
was.
did too, I think.
They did, yeah. Yeah.
I remember some like viral clips of Drew Lock throws.
Yep. Man, we're not going to have quarterback battle this year. Second year in a row.
Yeah.
Or
we will.
will we?
Wow.
Do we have time for a couple more comments?
Sure.
Oh, another one coming in from Jacob says, fun fact, Flo Rida, he played The Rock out of the biggest WrestleMania of all time before facing John Cena in a packed Miami stadium. Oh, how far he's fallen.
Wow.
Played The Rock out. Oh, like intro song.
Yeah.
Flow Rida.
Oh, he played The Rock at, yeah.
Yeah.
You would think The Rock and John Cena is about as big as you can get for WrestleMania.
It's crazy. Like, I've never seen, or I saw The Rock in wrestling like 6 months ago or something. I remember thinking like, this is what he used to do. Like, I've never seen him up until now like actually do
point.
this.
He's had
But
a
that's what
very
people know for.
diverse
Same thing
career.
with John Cena.
The Rock does everything.
College football player, NFL,
Yeah.
right? A little cup
Yep.
of coffee in the NFL.
Yep,
training camp.
Yep. Now he owns the XFL.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Got a hell of a portfolio.
And he plays himself in a whole bunch of movies.
He has his own tequila, I believe.
Definitely.
Yep. Yeah.
Don't buy celebrity tequila.
Wow. Why not?
Not like, is it just more about the name than
Yeah,
the
just buy
alcohol?
from, real distillers.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Is it better?
Yes.
Okay. Sure.
100 times better.
Wow.
100.
Okay.
You heard it from you here. The count says we were only 20
I
or
lit-
so.
Last thing,
Yeah.
when I'm purchasing tequila at the liquor store, I will literally Google it to make sure it is not made
It's
by a
not made
celebrity.
by
Wow.
a celebrity. What if it's a celebrity tequila maker?
That's fine.
Okay. So as long as they come up,
But like, I can't remember why. Like, I think Allie was just like, "Oh, I've like heard of this."
probably George
and,
Clooney's.
And then I looked at it, and it was like Kylie Jenner's or something, and I was like, well, that's why you've heard of it. But,
Yeah,
and
that's
she was
true.
like,
Yeah.
it's not like she was saying we should buy it. She was just like, oh, I
Right.
think I've heard of that.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, Kylie Jenner has one. George Clooney has one. Ryan Reynolds has one.
George Clooney
George-
actually sold his.
Oh, really?
Casamigos, actually, it's actually good. He sold it. That's why everybody started buying tequila brands or like trying to make their own tequila because he sold it for like $1 billion or $2 billion.
Wow.
Something
But
like that.
his personalized signature's on the bottle. You're saying he's not signing them anymore?
It is.
It's just a stamp. Yes.
Yeah. So, anyways, buy real tequila.
I agree.
Casamigos isn't the
Support.
one I thought it
Not
was.
from
Local.
yeah.
Yep.
Support local tequila.
The count says we were only
Don't we
20
have to make
minutes.
it in Mexico.
You do.
If it's not made in Mexico,
How am I supposed to buy local tequila?
Not
then?
local from here.
Oh.
Yeah, like
Local
Artisan
support other
tequila.
local.
Yes. Support artisan tequila.
There we go.
you go.
Yeah.
What does artisan mean?
Artisan, it means
from
Local
yeah,
from
like,
that
where
place.
they are, not like not like a corporation.
tequila.
It's really hard to explain, but you get it.
yes. It's really funny because I've tried to read this comment twice, and both of you had wanted to talk about something other than football.
Sure.
And here's what it says: we were only 20 minutes or so into the pod yesterday when someone in the chat was upset that we weren't talking Broncos. The irony of this comment right now. I guess you can't keep the psychopaths off the internet, can you? I don't pay good money to listen to you people just talk ball. Anyone can do that. It takes a special group to debate the merits of best drinking spots and the nuances of why or why not Hank should adopt a hairless cat. Speaking of debates, what's the silliest thing you've ever argued about with your significant other? Also, shout out to Nashville Bronco. Love the count.
We don't really argue.
Yeah, I don't really either.
Yeah, there isn't much. I don't know. I don't have a lot of conflict in my life. You know, it's all pretty straightforward.
I had maybe the most conflict we've had in a
Silliest.
long time last night.
Wow.
We were doing some wedding stuff.
I was gonna
which
say,
is
I
just
bet it has something to do with the
yeah,
wedding.
it's just a pain in the ass. And so we've been doing it for like 2.5 hours or something. And it was just her and I in the room. And I was like, okay, we're cross-checking stuff. So I was like, why don't you pull this document up? And she goes, me? I said,
Who else?
yeah, you. And I was snitty.
Oh, no.
She actually did that twice. The first time I blew it off, and the second time I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, I'm not talking to the cats right now." And then she was like, "Why'd you just do that?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, I don't know." But that's close to fighting as we get.
Dumbest thing we've argued about? I mean, I'm sure there's some really dumb shit that I'm not even remembering because it was so dumb. It's usually just like we're both really hungry
Yeah.
and we want the other person to choose where we eat. That's like the number one most common, I feel like, thing that people argue
Yeah.
about.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's dumb every time.
Yep.
That one that's common. The other one, it was Zach's wedding. We were getting a hotel, and she kept saying like, "I'm gonna be stressed out if we don't book this hotel." And I was like, there was literally no rush to book the hotel. And she's like, well, if they run out of rooms. It's like, well, we've looked at the website. Like this one, there's like 2 remaining. It says on there. This one has like 5 remaining. The ones we want doesn't even say how many are remaining because there's so many remaining. So like we're good. And she's like, well, why don't we just book it now? I was like, why don't we just book it later? So there's
Wow.
like that.
My
There's that
wedding
kind of
breaking
thing.
them
She
up.
was in the right.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
They're in the very wrong.
I mean, it's like I don't care, but like the whole like middle of a movie, it's 9:00. Should we book that hotel? It's like no, we shouldn't right now.
I understand what you're saying. I've been burned 1 or 2 times with stuff like that.
Yep.
And then you feel so unbelievably stupid after. Or like
Interesting.
with flights. You're like, no, that flight, it'll be the same price tomorrow. Just
Yep.
out of like laziness. My credit card's downstairs or something like that. And then you come and it's triple the price and you're like,
Wow.
now I have to fly out at like 4 a.m. instead of that nice 11:30 a.m. flight.
Yeah, exactly. It's sometimes the cost stuff can go either way, right? Like sometimes it'll go down.
Yeah.
But especially like a hotel room where the price isn't going to change, just book it.
It's just
Yeah.
there. Did you book it?
Yeah.
Smart
yeah.
man. Smart
Well,
man.
she did like a month ago. But hairless cat thing. I'm not getting a hairless cat. My barber has hairless cats, and he brings them in sometimes, and they're nice cats. But like if I'm getting a cat,
Cleaning them is like a whole process. You have to like make sure they're clean.
there's no hair everywhere.
No,
So
they
it's
have oils, and so you have to bathe them.
Yeah.
And they love baths because they're cold all the time. So
Oh.
they're a cat that loves to take a bath.
And they
Actually,
probably
that
love
is kind of
cuddling.
fun.
Yes, probably.
See,
I
I
actually
don't
might
need
get a
that.
hairless cat. maybe not soon,
you-
but my fiance has really wanted one.
Really?
I'm not against it.
When
How many cats do you have?
We have 2. Yeah.
You guys are gonna be crazy cat people.
next
Yeah,
time,
we probably are there.
next time they're kittens, I'll let you know.
Oh, you know someone?
Yeah, my barber.
Your
Which his
barber.
his store
Wow.
like he had to pay like $1,000. This I think the first one was like $1,200, like
Wow.
from Russia, and I'm sure there's a bunch of terrible
Should have
things.
put it on
happening.
your registry.
There's
I
some,
should have.
there's some irony there that like your barber has a hairless cat.
There's some irony
Yeah,
there.
it's true. Is he bald?
Right.
He is not.
He's not.
No.
Someone said biggest argument cap-wise said biggest argument right now with my wife is I think we should build a new Broncos stadium and she says just to stay. First of all,
Wow.
you
Good argument.
picked a keeper.
Yeah.
She's willing to
I
argue
know.
with you about this. Second of all, you're wrong and she's right.
Yeah.
She's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
It's unrealistic, but she's right.
Unless, what if she wants to, or wait, who wants to build a new stadium?
The Broncos.
He cap-wise
Oh.
wants to build a new stadium. His
Yeah.
wife says it should stay.
What if he wants to build it just where Old Mile High was?
Well, that's fine.
Okay.
Yep. We
So
can
you
get
think
behind
he's
it.
referring to out by the airport?
Yeah. Yep. He's a big Green Valley Ranch guy.
It's just going to be
Green
no,
Valley
maybe he
Ranch.
lives by there. That would make a lot of sense. There's just no character out there.
No,
I
there's nothing.
still really hate it, but for the first time, I realized for me personally, if they were building a stadium out there and like there's a bunch of new housing and stuff, it could change the rent prices in Denver. So I personally could be better off.
It's not gonna change. It's just gonna make everything more expensive just out there as well.
I don't
Once-
think
dude,
so.
this is the
That's
thing.
how the
Once-
math works.
Yes, but once something goes up, nobody's gonna try to lower the price. That's the thing.
Well,
People
that's-
like their money.
Apartments, I think they would be willing to, because it's all just about how many are filled. And if that's a new trendy spot where people my age are trying to move, then where I live now,
I think they have like a coalition where they're like, no one lower their prices.
Yeah, I think so too. Definitely.
kind of true.
It's like the NFL Players Association. Like you can't take a discount on your
Right.
your
I don't
contract.
think so though, because there's just so many interactions. Like they need to fill all the apartments.
Do you think that people would, that would be a hot spot to move because of stadiums out there when the stadium isn't for a baseball team or a basketball/hockey team when there's only 10 games a year?
I don't think it's because of the stadium.
Okay.
I think it's because they're gonna build like there's gonna be bars, movie
Yeah.
theaters. Like it's just gonna be like this brand new shiny
Yeah.
part of town.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like if you want to live there versus like
right.
it'd be competitive with like living next to Coors.
We got to wrap up, boys.
right.
We do.
All right. It was fun.
All right. Great show. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you tomorrow.